guys, welcome to Awesome Comics, your one-stop shop for everything comic book entertainment. I'm Ayana, and I've taken over today. We're back with our Versus series. In our Versus series, we take two panelists, and we make them fight out their opposing views right here on the show.
I'm ready, man. You will kick my ass.
We're going to move this table away, and they're just going to... No, I'm just kidding.
I will lose.
Well, today's topic is Mask versus Deadpool. So who's the better wacky character? We'll get into specifics in a moment. But first, I want to go ahead and encourage you to go like our Facebook page. Every Thursday, we have an exclusive video that comes out just for you on Facebook. So go check it out, get a like. Let us know what you're thinking about this stuff, other stuff, things we should do in the future. We'd like to hear from you. So, why don't we get into intros? Doug, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I am Doug.
You're doing well. Batman does good.
I'm doing well? Oh, Batman does good. Well, I can do good, too.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
I mean, I won't, but I could.
Yeah. Well, it's the fact that you could that counts, right?
Yes.
And Porter, hi, welcome back. You're here all the time.
Mr. Feeney would love you to do good, if you know what I'm talking about. That's right. Tearjerker episode, last episode. Anyway, what's up?
Not what we're here to talk about, but always important to bring up.
Yeah, you can always bring up Mr. Feeney.
Mr. Feeney versus Boy. That should be the next one.
Oh, let us know in the comments down below.
That's going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
All right. Well, let's get into a little bit of the history of each of these characters. Doug, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about The Mask.
Well, The Mask is very much like the movie, except polar opposite, if that makes sense. It's about a guy named Stanley Ipkiss who finds this artifact, this mask, and when he puts it on, suddenly he's transformed to this green-faced menace, but instead of going around helping people and doing good, he goes around killing people and doing whatever he wants, and nobody can stop him, nobody can shoot him or kill him. He might bleed a little bit, but he's totally invulnerable. But the great thing about it is that it doesn't just stay with him. It passes from person to person to person, and we see the different impact that it has on those people, and it turns you crazy, it turns you violent, it turns you super insane, and it's always a battle whether or not they can get it away from them in time, and it's one of the coolest, most gory action series ever. It's twisted, it's deranged, it's incredible.
Alrighty then. Porter, why don't you tell us
I think it was Smokin', thank you very much, which is not in the comic, by the way.
Woo! Do not go in there. Aw, childhood.
We need to have a Jim Carrey talk after
yes,
this.
and we will.
Oh, yeah.
Porter, tell us a little bit about Deadpool.
Wade Winston Wilson, a.k.a. Deadpool, whose first appearance was in New Mutants 98, February 91, written by Fabian Nicieza and drawn by Rob Liefeld, is a human mercenary mutated by Weapon X's addition of Wolverine's healing factor, which bonded to his cancer. Wade, whose memories of his childhood are conflicting, was raised by his mother and abusive father, who was an army officer and was later killed by one of Wade's friends when Wade was a teen. Later, after getting out of the Army Special Forces for not following orders, Wade joined a CIA agency for mercs. Later, he joined the U.S. Canadian-run Department K to help cure his cancer. It was arrested for a bit, but then came back. After killing a teammate, he had his heart ripped out by Ajax in retaliation for killing his teammate, and his healing factor kicked in and saved his life. He tracked down Ajax and killed him, and then adopted the name Deadpool.
Oh, well. Informative. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're all welcome.
So obviously, in the history, the healing factor, invulnerability is very important. It plays a very important part of these characters. So let's get down to it. Let's talk about who has the best healing factor or invulnerability. Doug, let's start with you.
Okay, so the great thing about The Mask is that when you put it on, it's not like someone gets shot and, you know, if there's blood and there's a little hole, it just stays there, whatever. With The Mask, it can work however you want it to work. There's some scenes where, like, 1 million people will shoot him and there's not a scratch on him. There's, like, a little bit of fire or something like that, say like a candle. Or there's other times where he'll get shot and it'll be just pouring with blood and stuff like that. Sometimes the bullets get stuck in him, sometimes they go through him. Sometimes when you take his head off, it can actually come straight off. Other times the neck will stretch. It's very much cartoon logic. It gets whatever it wants to be. So I think, in my opinion, that's like the ultimate vulnerability, because it's whatever you want. It's whatever serves the joke. It's very much like a cartoon that way. And it's also what serves its purpose in, you know, winning the battle or just doing whatever crazy emotional thing he or she wants to do. And I think that's kind of what makes it so cool and makes it so imaginative, is that there is no one continuity with the invulnerability. It's just however he or she wants to do it.
Until the mask comes off.
Until the mask comes off, yeah, in which case, like, you'll probably have, like, a hole in your shirt, from, like, bullets or something like that, but your skin, everything is totally fine.
So the mask is actually just the face, or it's the whole body then?
Visually, it just takes over the face usually, but even then, that's not true, because it can, like, suddenly,
give you a suit.
Yeah, you can suddenly have, like, a suit, and you can have, like, a guitar, you can have whatever you want. The main thing is the green. It just protects the entire body, and you can pull out whatever you want. Before it was just guns, but as the comics went on and the movie came out, suddenly, you could bring animals out and all sorts of crazy people and things and stuff like that, so it kicks ass.
Awesome. Speaking of kicking ass, Deadpool, let's talk about
Damn
his invulnerability.
straight. Okay, so Deadpool's invulnerability is, out of all of the healers in the Marvel Universe, he got his invulnerability from Wolverine. But, and then Sabretooth also got it from Wolverine. And then there's Daken and X-23. But out of all of them, he has the best healing factor. It is the fastest and the most complete. In Deadpool Suicide Kings, he gets his head literally blown apart by a crossbow bolt from the Punisher. It just grows back. No problem. He uses it to his advantage all the time, slicing off an arm, slicing off a leg. If someone's got him in a hold or whatever, he just, whoop, I'm going to chop this off, I'm going to pull it off, bite through, whatever. And he uses it to get out of situations, he uses it to help his mission, to trick people all the time. He uses it to his advantage a lot, and it is awesome. He can just cut stuff off, like attach it, and his healing factor just instantly bonds back his arm or whatever. He uses it to his advantage so much, and it is so fast. Even getting his head blown off, he grows it back in like an hour. Sure, if you're in the middle of a fight, that kind of sucks, but if someone blows your head off and they're going to be like, well, he's dead, we're going to walk away, little do they know, his head grows back and he comes and screws him up. It is an awesome tool that he uses to his advantage all the time, and I think that's a little bit more useful to him than just the mask, because when, say, someone knows it's Stanley Ipkiss, okay, but he's the mask, they try to kill him, he doesn't die. Later on, takes the mask off, someone sees Stanley Ipkiss, he blows his freaking head off, Stanley's dead.
Spoilers.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, see, it's obviously gonna happen. But with Deadpool, it's all the time. He's always got it, no matter what he's doing.
When you're
always
in a
got
battle, though, when you're in a battle actually going at it, like you said, if he gets his head blown off or something like that, he's got to grow it back or he's got to wear something like that. You're right with the weakness with the mask. It does have to eventually come off or you'll go nuts. But when you do actually have the mask on, like, if it hits you and you don't want your head to fly back, or you do want it to come clean off so you can throw it back at him or something like that, you can do that. And I think there's just so much more opportunity with that. It's always more useful in a battle.
Okay.
Ew, it's like those flamingo things from the Labyrinth. I hate those guys. Skip that scene every time. All right, now my exciting topic. I'm excited to talk about.
I'm so excited how excited you're excited.
Most creative kill or KO. Go.
Most creative kill or KO.
Yeah.
Okay, well mine, see, I like ones, actually even for the mask, it's not like super weird or anything like that, but I think it's super funny. I like kills where the person doesn't even necessarily kill the prey, he lets other people kill him. And there's this one great one, again, what I was talking about before with letting the bullets either go through you or get stuck. He's in between this wall, he's talking to one guy who has a shotgun on him, and he's walking through the door, he's tantalizing him stuff, and he goes through the door, and there's another guy with a shotgun at him, and he tantalizes him, howdy, ha ha, and they both fire the guns, and they go right through him and hit the other guy. And it's just this beautifully drawn frame of them both firing at the same time, and both of them flying back in this wall in the middle where, the mask is just going, ha ha, and just... You finally take a look, you see his blood pouring out the mask, and he's just looking at it, and he just goes, whatever. So I really like the ones where, again, he can sort of use his power to his advantage and just sort of like, I can either stop these or just let them go right through me. He lets them go right through him, and they kill each other.
Yeah.
And that's the nice version. That's like the cop who has the mask at that point. That's the nicer of the people, and he just lets them kill each other.
What's one of the worst, like an honorable mention of like a worse, like terrible, gritty one?
Actually, a lot of the most creative come from Walter. Walter is like one of the most twisted, demented characters, and he barely talks. He's kind of like, Michael Myers character.
I'm in the chair. We're not talking about Walter today.
Okay, fine. Oh, and the character in the comic is really screwed up too.
Yeah, him too.
That's awesome.
All right, Porter.
Teamwork.
All right, I got. If Deadpool's good at anything, it's good at killing people in the most awesome awesome
Absolutely,
ways.
yeah.
Okay, one of my favorite runs of Deadpool is Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe because he freaking murders everybody. Everybody. What's one of the biggest powerhouses in Marvel? Who's one of the biggest badasses that just can't be killed? All this other
Wolverine?
stuff.
Who?
Think bigger and more godlike.
Hulk? Oh, Thor.
Thor.
Eh.
Thor's a badass. He can go toe to toe with anybody and usually wins. Deadpool kills Thor and he doesn't even touch him. He blows up the Avengers Tower. Most of them die. This natty just got done killing Luke Cage. Thor's like, you'll need more than some bombs to beat me. And he throws Mjolnir at him. Deadpool does a quick, cool flip. He's got Hank Pym's Pym particle helmet, shoots the hammer with some Pym particles, blows it up to huge size. When it misses Deadpool, it comes back around to Thor like it should. Wham! Smacks the shit out of him and kills him. Awesome. Awesome. You just crushed Thor with a giant-sized Mjolnir and you didn't even touch him. That is one of the most badass kills I've ever seen. But if you want more gory, later on in issue 3 of that series, he's taunting Wolverine, and he shows him a picture, or actually, Wolverine goes to the place. We've got X-23 and Dakin strung up, hanging from the roof, all burnt to shit because Deadpool has a computer program that monitors their vitals and their healing factor, and every time they start regenerating flesh, he hits them with crazy-ass flamethrowers and just continually burns them alive, negating their healing factor and perpetually burning them alive and killing them, and burning them alive and killing them. That's pretty gruesome. I think Deadpool takes the cake on that one. And that's just one kill. Later on that issue, he's wearing Beast's skin as a hide.
Oh.
It's pretty brutal. He blows Spider-Man's head off.
Oh, head off, okay.
Yeah, he blows Spider-Man's head off. He blows Frank Castle's head off. He kills everybody.
Pretty much kills everybody.
And that's just in this 4-issue arc.
Hence the title of the arc of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
He kills everybody.
The entire universe.
You know, I'll point out one thing with that though, because like that is cool. That is like really cool. If you're gonna do that with a character, you gotta do it with Deadpool and stuff like that. What I like about the Mask though is that, you know, again, there is this sort of invulnerable character, but he goes up against someone that's also, kind of for lack of a better word, invulnerable. It's a super muscle-bound guy. And everything they throw at this guy, like, you know, might hurt him a bit, but even then, just barely. And no matter what they do, they can't kill this person. And there's this incredible battle in the Mask Returns series where it's just the Mask going up against this guy, against Walter. And all they do, they just shoot guns, throw punches, stab each other, just nothing but blood flying everywhere, throwing grenades and stuff like that. And neither of them are getting anywhere. They might bleed a little bit, but I mean, just none of them are ever being taken out. And I think that kind of battle is much more interesting when you do find that other person who is invulnerable and for like a completely different reason. And the funny thing is, there's no reason for them to be fighting. After a while, they realize they could be escaping, maybe the cops are coming or something, but they just keep going because it's that weird pride issue. It's that pride that leads to insanity. And I think that is so cool because I don't know if Deadpool ever has like an equal in the comics. I think he is just sort of his own entity, which is cool, but I think it makes for a much more interesting battle when someone else can't die as well or seems invulnerable. And that battle, there never is like a clear winner in that battle either. Even when Walter comes back, there's never really a clear winner. And I just think that's the coolest thing. They have sort of these two invulnerable forces and for completely different reasons.
Well, that's a perfect transition to our last topic. Who would win if we mashed up The Mask versus Deadpool? And why?
Well, I gotta say Mask.
Yeah, right. I would
kind of a short
You
show.
really don't.
Right.
You could say Deadpool.
One episode, roll credits.
No, but it's tricky with the Mask because Deadpool is one dude, you know, and he's this one entity. You know, the Mask is passed on from person to person. Ipkiss is not in the Mask very long. You know, he actually gets, you know, sort of out of the picture very quickly, and then is passed on to Calloway, then is passed on to this gangster dude, then is passed on to Catherine, it's passed on to all these people. So a lot of it, and as they go on, it starts off with a few little differences. You know, it's still mainly the green face and they act crazy and stuff, and they maybe have a little bit of a goal. But then as they go on, they start, as you can see, they form sort of these different outlines and stuff. Like this one will look very different from like that one or something like that, Catherine, will look very, very different. So instead of just being the green face, they suddenly form their own personalities, and some react to the mask very well and can control it. Some can hold on to it for a long time. Others, like they put it on, they immediately go nuts and insane, like in Ipkiss's case. So it kind of depends whether or not you get someone who's going to keep it together or just go totally nuts with it. Either, I think, would be very effective and would make for a really, really good battle.
Would you think that the more insane you are, the more powerful you get, and the quicker the battle?
It's hard to say because Deadpool is kind of crazy too.
Right.
He's absolutely insane.
He goes back and forth the whole time as well, so it's really, really hard to say. And even like I was going through trying to think like, well, which one with the mask would hold up the best against Deadpool? And it's like they're all kind of different, but Deadpool kind of flip flops too. I think just any of them would probably work. Would probably get like a good reaction. Probably not the ones from Hunt for Greed October, those that read it, that might be like a little bit weak, because that's like a father-daughter, and they do play to like the sympathetic side, but the others, they just get lost to it pretty quickly. I'd probably say either Ipkiss, because he was the first one to get, he's the one that goes totally insane, just goes on a killing spree for no reason at all. And then on top of that, maybe either the gangster or Catherine, because Catherine goes the longest against Walter. So maybe them, but I think it's kind of up there, either or, can take him on. I'll just say he has the advantage though, because he can control, he or she, whoever's wearing it, can control how the violence happens to him and can use it against Deadpool.
Okay. Well, see, you're talking about multiple different people in this net, maybe multiple types of adversaries that he would be facing. You got to remember when you face Deadpool has multiple personalities. And now in inner monologues and all that stuff, and that other personality usually helps him. And in Deadpool Annual #1 from January 2014, which I have right there, it's the explanation of how Deadpool got one of his personalities. It was actually the villain Madcap, and they got obliterated apart and electrified into ash by Thor's lightning bolt. And when they healed together. So Deadpool had the body, and Madcap kind of had part of his brain, and they worked together as each other. So you've got two villains, and you're facing them working in tandem in an invulnerable body. That's an incredibly strong adversary. And then later on, he loses Madcap or whatever, but he brings in this one federal agent, and she gets melded into his consciousness or whatever to save her soul, in essence. But you have a federal agent inside Deadpool. One, she's trying to keep him good, but she's also a tactical person. She knows tactics and all that stuff. So you got them two working together. And then Deadpool is a huge tactical genius. And the fact that he is a tactical genius combines with the fact that he's freaking insane. Nobody knows what he's going to do. Wolverine doesn't. That's how he kills everybody in the Marvel Universe, because nobody knows what Deadpool's going to do except for Deadpool. And sometimes maybe not even Deadpool. He just does shit. And it's awesome. So trying to go against someone who is just off the cuff crazy and just uses it to his advantage is going to be hell of a hard time. And then Deadpool's Deadpool. Whatever he's in, mask, costume, whatever, Deadpool's Deadpool. But with your mask, it can be taken off and it's transferred to people and this and that. Deadpool's a tactical genius. He would form some way to get the mask off of that person and then take the mask and destroy it, bury it in 15 feet of concrete, something. He would make sure that adversary is gone.
The mask is kind of like the ring in Lord of the Rings, though. It has a way of getting to the next person. But you bring up two interesting points. One is that you're right. It can, at some point, the mask has to stop being the mask, because they go crazy and have to take it off. It'll usually go to someone else. Somehow, usually that person either gets killed off or, something bad happens to them. But something you were talking about, you said Deadpool has all these different personalities, and like a ton of different multiple personalities and stuff like that. And with the mask, they do a little bit of the backstory that it was, some sort of like, entity or something that's in the mask. Sometimes the mask even talks itself. So it's always kind of like the mask and whoever the mask is on having this battle, and that leads to a good question. What's easier to control, the mob or the person? Because with the mask, it's always just two people fighting, the whole time. It's, the person has the mask on and the mask itself. And the mask always wants to take it 20 steps further than the person wants to, and usually the person will eventually fall into it. With Deadpool, it's tons of people arguing all the time. And it's like whether or not, you can sort of hone that mob to work with you, in which case, you got more personalities, more people working for you, or if it's just always, they're never going to agree, it's always going to be a mess.
Well, I think most of the time I've ever seen is two other separate entities or whatever, and they show it by the different style boxes or whatever. One's more somewhat regal in the terms of the way he speaks, but he's very level-headed. Another one's like a different version of crazy than Deadpool, but often happens to be in line with crazy Deadpool, with the regular Deadpool. But then the more regal one is a little bit more of the common sense era, but he uses to help Deadpool, like, you missed this and stuff like that. So you've got
devil and angel on his shoulder.
Yeah, but the angel's also kind of morally ambiguous, and that works. So I think he's got all these people wanting to back him up all
It's
the
like
time.
Kronk's devil and angel from Emperor's New Groove.
Right.
How
You should listen
often?
to him.
How often does Deadpool have like arguments with like his other personalities and stuff?
Inner monologue arguments all the time.
Okay, 'cause
but
I-
they usually come out together, and like they're like, well, no, this and this. Well, how about we kill him with this? Well, we kill him with this. Like, it's always usually.
But I mean,
towards
like,
the same.
okay, like, hey, I want to do this, and the other personality, it's like, no, I do not want to do this.
More often
because-
with the federal agent, the woman. I can't remember her name. It was from I think Dugan's run in Marvel
But
now.
what I'm getting to with that is that the more often there's usually that conflict and that argument, usually the weaker the battle's going to be because you both want to be on the same page. And with the mask, they always start off on the same page, like always. There's always like the mask is just happy to be doing crazy shit, and then whoever's wearing the mask wants to do something with it, whether it be good or bad. So they always start off on the same page. So I think even just the time when you come across them could play a big impact as well. Because like if Deadpool's not agreeing with himself, and then the mask comes in, like having just put on the mask, he's probably going to have the advantage. But like if it goes down the line where the mask is like, no, this is going too far, I don't want to do this, you're driving me insane, and Deadpool and his thoughts are on the same page, he's going to have the advantage. So I think, again, it just kind of depends when you come across them.
And another thing that I think Deadpool will win is because he's a martial arts master and a weapons master. He can use anything to his advantage: guns, knives, swords, anything. He's proficient in most weapons and almost all forms of combat. And then you throw in the fact that he's crazy, he mixes them all up. That's a huge factor. And then in earlier issues of Deadpool, he's a teleporter. So he might run out of bullets and this and that. He's not going to be able to manufacture them out of thin air like the mask can. He'll just teleport to one of his weapons caches. Boom, rocket launcher, like no problem. I'm back and I'm going to kill you. Like,
But the mask can do that too. He can be anywhere, any place. He doesn't have to go get a gun. He always has the gun. Always. And he can always have a bazooka. He can always have a grenade. He can always have any of that stuff on him usually.
Yeah, but I think that it would be. I think it would be harder for the mask to realize when Deadpool's going to be doing stuff like that, because like Deadpool's unpredictable.
Well,
but you can tell that the mask's crazy and he'll pull shit out of anywhere. It's like, okay, he's going to do something crazy when I do this. I'm going to do this.
Well,
you know what I mean?
something else I forgot to bring up too. This is something they brought in later as it went on. The mask can change the environment. Like he can suddenly go into a room and it's suddenly like a Twilight Zone parody, or it's like a circus that you're in, or something like that. So the environment can just completely change based on what mood he's in as well. Which is something I don't think Deadpool can change himself. He can change anything with him he can change, but he can't change the environment.
That is true.
So I think that can really sort of mix him up too.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, we are going to move on to our picks of the week. Doug, what is your pick of the week for us today?
My pick of the week, if you can read the first Max Omnibus, like the first collection, that's probably a good thing to do to start off, but the one I think is the best, whichever camera I'm supposed to hold it to, I'll hold it somewhere in the middle, is the Mask Returns collection. This is the one where it gets probably the most gory, probably the most story going on. There's much more of a connective narrative to it, and it just has the greatest battle with the Mask ever. And like I said, this is what I was talking about before with the two entities going at it, with the Mask and Walter just constantly doing machine guns and flamethrowers and grenades, and they just go nuts and crazy. And it's just one of those things where it's like the absolute stubbornness and the creativity of how far. Look at that! That is insane. That is insane how much blood is in this. Just the absolute length they can push it, and they just. Like I said, it's that pure pride, stubbornness that I think just makes such a good battle. And but on top of that, the rest of it is really good too, and it's really twisted and messed up. I mean, as we know, Deadpool is twisted and messed up too. So it's these two really should fight. I think they should do something together.
Let's do it. Crossover. Make it
Yeah.
happen.
That would be awesome. That would be super
Let's
cool.
get a Mask movie too. Let's get it not the Jim Carrey one. Let's get a gory, gritty Mask
Yeah,
movie.
definitely. That would be really cool. I read a little bit of The Mask in preparation for this, and I was super, super surprised at how ridiculously gory and just off the wall it was, and I really enjoyed it. From what little bit I read of the omnibus, I liked it better in the movie.
Yeah, oh, I mean, the movie has very little to do with the original, but yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like, you kind of read it and it's like, yeah, this is sick, this is twisted, but it's holding my attention. I want to know what's going on. I think there's a lot of comics out there that are just gore porn or like Saw or something where it's just sort of like, okay, you just watch to see bad stuff happen, but you want to know what's going to happen next in these stories. And I think for kind of that gore porn thing, I mean, it's like, it's tough to do, and I think these characters are interesting enough, and the stories are just simple enough, but just, hint of complicatedness-ish, too.
Porter, pick of the week?
I mean, Deadpool's got so many awesome titles out there, and like this one, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, is a fantastic read, and it sets up this overlapping arc of different titles. You got Deadpool Kills Marvel Universe, Deadpool Kills Deadpool, Deadpool Killustrated, where he goes throughout literary history and kills off these literary characters. Sherlock Holmes, Moby Dick, like Deadpool trying to kill Moby Dick is amazing. And
The whale? He kills the whale?
Yeah, you see him with a harpoon. It's awesome cover on it. It's fantastic. Awesome. And he sets up all these crazy ass story arcs, and they're just so fun. And then you've got his regular comic run, which is full of nuts, just absolutely nuts. When he came back with Deadpool in Marvel Now, like he had the dead presidents, and Thomas Jefferson's ghost was totally chilling with Deadpool, and he was a horny little bastard, and it was super funny. And Deadpool and Thomas Jefferson talking to each other about shit is just comic gold. So I mean, there's tons of stuff. You just go find a Deadpool comic and read it, and you'll love it. Deadpool Suicide Kings is one of my favorite little story arcs. It's fantastic.
Awesome. Sounds great.
There's a million, but whatever.
There's a lot of Deadpool to go read. Go read it. Go check it out. Also, go check out The Mask. You can also check out these guys on social media. Doug, where can we find you?
You can find me at this address. Yeah, I'm going to be an asshole again. Do you just put it at the bottom? Is that what Okay, you mix it up. Okay, so whatever you manage to do this time, just go. I have Facebook posts. Obviously, go to channelawesome.com and see all the cool stuff I do there.
Awesome, Porter.
Facebook.com/awesomeporter. Porcer. I can't.
Don't go there. That's a different site.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. But, no.
Everyone's going to go there now. They got to know what's there.
I wonder.
I really want to know.
Is that your secret?
Screw you. I'm going to look at the other ones.
We don't know. And then, the Awesome Comics Show Facebook.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll have new videos up every Thursday exclusively on Facebook, so go check that out again. If you didn't earlier in the episode, now we're towards the end, you can go check it out now. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter and here as always, but not here. This chair is really comfy, and Walter likes to take it all the time. But
He's
it's
pretty
great.
possessive of
He's
the chair.
pretty possessive of this chair. It's a great chair, though, and I like it. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Let us know in the comments down below who you think would win, who your favorite character is, and what characters we should do next. Absolutely. Yep. Last chance.
Get out of here.
All right, guys. We'll see you here next week. I'm Ayana Wade, and for the guys here, we'll see you on the next page.